Indeed, greetings unto you, beloved and holy friends. Thank you so much for joining me again on another video. I always appreciate your presence. If you enjoy what it is I'm doing here, consider liking the video, consider subscribing, and do leave a comment. I try and answer every single one of them. Let's melt more into being. So, I'm gonna quickly do something to make myself just a wee bit more comfortable. I can show you as well now something I was talking about yesterday, where I was like, I added some support for my lower back at the bottom of this cushion, and this is like literally just a bag full of sand that's technically supposed to be used to stop the door from opening or closing itself, and now it's being utilized for my lumbar support or my just back support, so I feel a little bit more stable. Dunk. There we go. Isn't that so comfortable, man? It feels like really good. I don't know if it's just because it's something that's novel to me or if it just feels significantly better. Feels good though. First, hey Mel, you're first, Justin. Thank you so much for joining me again, my friend. I appreciate you so much. So, need a good back support. Yeah, my friend, I do feel that. So, since you're a chiropractor, Justin, I want you to answer this question for me. Like, legitimately now, I'm feeling different in my sitting position. Usually when I sit down, I'm sinking a little bit more into my cushion, right? So, is there actual benefits to me having this cushion directly underneath? Well, not technically a cushion. Technically, it's something that's harder than a cushion, which also elevates my back and tilts my legs down a little bit. Is that something that's good for me? Is it something that's better for my back at the end of the day? Hey, Upper Television, are you Russian? No, I'm not, my friend. I am South African. Hi, man. How are you? I'm doing well. I'm doing really well, actually. I'm a little bit intimidated. I'll tell you why in a second. We are all Africa, never forget. Yeah. Again, we are all Africa as much as we are all universe, as much as we are all Earth, as much as we are all, stardust at the end of the day. Do you know Russian or Spanish? I know Afrikaans, which is neither Russian nor Spanish, but it is Afrikaans. Dis is al wat ek kan praat. Dis al wat ek geleer het om te praat. Probably maintains your lower back curve, less stress on the muscles. That does make sense. Thank you, Justin. Maybe like because it's stable, so your back doesn't have to be as tense necessarily to keep you upright, if you will. There's a fly buzzing about. It's gone again. It's the guy who danced like he was like a month ago. Yeah, my friend. I was the one dancing about a month ago. I haven't danced in like almost a week and a half. I've been a little bit busy, but I'm gonna get back into it. I think tomorrow. I think I'll be dancing tomorrow. So I want to say something worth saying, and I'm going to be reading from this book in any way. But the first thing worth saying, if you will, from lesson 3, where we're picking up from, is forgiveness is releasing the perception you have projected. Because at the end of the day, we get very worked up, right? When people don't do what we want them, or when they do things to us that we don't like necessarily. Hello everyone, hey Naomi. I'm happy that you're here with us as well, my friend. So, now that we're a few friends here, I need to tell you a secret. Tiny little secret. So, today I made some cannabis oil, or edible oil, if you will, some coconut oil, some cannabis leaves, combined them, and like I was doing some reading, and they say the best way to dose or to test how strong your cannabis oil is by taking like half a teaspoon of said oil and then seeing how you feel. So I might have done that just before the stream, literally minutes before the stream. So we're gonna find out together whether or not I'm gonna get messed up. I look forward to sharing this experience. I challenge you, instead of saying my friend, you say my vriend for the rest of the stream. Oké, mijn vriend. Ik kan het doen. Ik kan het doen. I can do that. Ik kan dat doen. Mijn vriend. Forgiveness is an essential key to healing. Seems we're going to get on the forgiveness train today. Like, forgiveness is something I've been practicing more and more of. Loving compassion and forgiveness, right? It's not been always like as easy as it like as made out to be. I want to set an intention for why I'm drinking water today, and I wanted to go hand in hand with my mental experiment on the self, if you will. So I think that's exactly what I'm gonna put it for, or at the at the intention for is just to allow myself to experience things, you know, to allow myself to experiment on myself as well. And I can guarantee you, friends, as we go through this journey, you're going to see me experimenting with things on myself all the time. All the time. Like one of the experiments I really look forward to is the vegan one as well, interestingly enough. I want to somewhere in this year take an entire month to do vegan, but goodness, I'm very intimidated by that actually. My friend, I can forgive, it is impossible for me to forget. Yeah, like there's a difference between like okay. So I'll get into that in a second. Thick Thor, hey Mr. Fireman, thank you for joining me, my friend. I'm happy to see you again. So the difference between forgiving and forgetting, right? So what I feel about that is what forgiveness is supposed to be. We have this idea in today's society, or at least in the way that we've been taught forgiveness, that forgiveness is this act of going towards someone and then telling them or letting them know that they have harmed you in some way, and that with this harm that they've implied upon your life, that is why you're now in this, you know, state of lack or state of hurt, and they have to apologize now to you because you've now come and forgiven them for this thing or whatever. But what I've realized in this practice of trying to understand what forgiveness is supposed to be is forgiveness is something that's for you, actually, my friend. So technically you should forget because it's not necessarily in the forgetting of like allowing these things to happen to you again as much as it is forgetting that happened at all, or thinking of it as something that didn't happen even, because at the end of the day it didn't happen. It happened to your physical body and to your physical you that you call myself, right? Whatever your name is. I'm like, oh, I'm this, I'm Meltmore, and you know, Steve said this thing to Meltmore, and Meltmore got hurt because of this thing Steve said. And now Meltmore wants to go and like forgive Steve. So instead of thinking of it from a place of I have to go to Steve and tell him, dude, I know you hurt me, yada yada yada, I forgive you for the stuff that you've done to me. Like, sure, you can do that, and it can be beneficial to you as well if you want to do that. But how I think about it, as like, at least for myself, is a better way to think about it, is to not have to go to him at all. To, in the place that you are right now, forgive him in the way of understanding that he has done nothing to you. Because the you that you are can never cease to be. It's the fundamental base of the universe, and we are basically just experiencing small individual parts of that. So if we are all interconnected in this way, if we're all the same person in this way, if we're all God expressed as individuals in this way, then anything being done is just the self doing it to itself. You know, the whole snake eating itself. Like, sure, you can be angry at the world, at yourself, at other people for this eating of the self, but it's something that is supposed to happen. It's a part of nature. And fighting against it and trying to stop it from happening is what creates so much turmoil in our lives. You're a brave man. Thank you, Justin. Let's see if my bravery is gonna kick my ass. I wouldn't be surprised. Stay awesome, dude. Thank you, Jay Foster. I will if you will, my friend. Sounds great. Veganism for the win. Do you need a hug? Not really. I feel like I'm all hugged up. I would like to give some hugs though. Interestingly enough, like that makes me think of something that happened once. Yeah, so I was at this music festival, and I arrived on the Friday, and I was the first one of my friends that had actually arrived there. So it was like a little bit of, those awkward vibes. Like, I don't know if any of you friends have ever been to a festival completely alone. Like, there wasn't any. I don't think I felt any lack necessarily, but maybe some disconnection, if you will, because I was waiting for my friends, and I was like moving from dance floor to dance floor, going to this place, seeing some of the different people, met some people I already knew there. I said hi again. It was also the first time I've been to a South African Psytrance festival in like a year and 4 months or something when I went to that Psytrance festival. So it was a really nice thing. I met a lot of people that remembered me and was like happy to see me again. And I went to like this one dancing area called the Feel area, or the Feel stage, and it's a place that was nice and under the roof. It was raining outside. Festival rain. This is the worst. Anyway, and I was like sitting at this table having a conversation with these ladies, and one of them had a very interesting view on life, a view on life that I don't agree with at all. Not anymore, at least. It was the view of life of us being, just bags of flesh, and our bags of flesh induces our, conscious experience, and then when bag of flesh dies, so goes the conscious experience with it. And that might be true on a fundamental level for this individual ego. Like the ego's consciousness of itself might die, but I don't believe consciousness dies. And we were having this conversation, and I was being very conservative with the way that I expressed myself and talked about this topic and how I felt about it. And I felt myself like creating this sense of turmoil within inside of myself and getting myself really worked up. And I was not having a good time. I was like really just sitting there like feeling almost upset, like angry type of feelings. Like angry, confused type of feelings. It's not something that I wanted for myself. And I was sitting there not saying anything, feeling the way I was feeling, and suddenly out of nowhere there's this guy, long hair, big beard, big smile on his face, and he looks me in the eyes and he tells me, "You look like someone who enjoys to have a hug, or who would like to have a hug." And I look him back in the eyes and I tell him I would love a hug. And I give this man a hug, and it was the most profound hug I've ever had in my entire life. It felt like this opening of my soul in the way that he was hugging me. It felt like he was, for the first time I understood what it meant to actually give someone a hug. Like we say that, right? We use those words, "Oh, I'm going to give this person a hug." And then it's like a walk up to them, you touch them for a bit, and then it's like a separation again. But I felt in that moment a real understanding of what it means to actually receive a hug from someone. Literally in the way that he was giving something to me. He wasn't expecting something for it. He wasn't coming from a place of malicious. He was giving me this hug. And with this gift of this hug that he gave me, I experienced this profound like fractally feeling, like this expansiveness coming from this man giving me a hug. And it felt like an eternity almost. And we stopped hugging each other, and he looks at me and he tells me, "You want to see something cool?" And I'm like, "Hell yeah, I want to see something cool. I'm at a Psytrance festival. Of course I want to see something cool." So he takes me to this like closed off area. It's like almost like a tent, but it has these comfortable cushions inside. And he brings me to like the entrance, and he tells me to take off my shoes. And I'm like, "Oh yeah, this is exactly where I wanted to be," because I really enjoy not wearing shoes. It's like more comfortable. I would like to one day in my own home have a system of no shoes in the house as well. Yeah, one day. Anyway, and like went into this little like tent area, and I sat down with him and with all of the friends that was already in there, and we had such profound conversations. And I had this conversation about hugs with him as well. And you asking me, "Do you need a hug?" really brought that story back to me. because he explained to me that with the way that we hug someone, you're there's an energy exchange happening. And when you're going into a hug with a sense of lack, like, I need a hug right now, and that's why I'm hugging you, in that hug, you'll literally be taking energy from that person. If that person is willing to give or not, sometimes as well. So, what he told me is that when you're giving someone a hug, you should hug them, again, as I said, with the intention of giving them a hug, of holding on to them, of experiencing that moment, of like, and in the way you posture yourself as well. Like, if you give someone a hug, like, you know, sideways, like one of these, like, one arm hugs, sure, technically a hug, but not really. Like, for me, one of my favorite ways of hugging is like arms around your shoulders. So like your arm probably goes around my backside, and then like the whole embrace, arms around your back, type of pull your head next to mine, close, and intimate hug. And with that realization of understanding what a hug could like what a hug could be to another person, and what his hug was to me, has really opened my mind as to how I want to be giving hugs as well. And I look forward to it as well. Thank you for the narwhal salute. Thank you for the helpful. Thank you for the hugs, and thank you for the for the silver, my friends. Some said a canine teeth. Goddamn pointers. Kalimba, you are not one in a million anymore. I don't know who this Kalimba is, my friend. Like, I see you, repulsive ad, every time you pop in, you say Kalimba, and then you say whatever you say. But I don't know if you're calling me Kalimba, or if you're talking to a friend named Kalimba. I don't know, dude. Do you wrestle? I used to, interestingly enough. Seen you in a ring somewhere, I think. Yeah, I used to be WWE World Champion. I had 20 belts. Experimentation. No, I'm joking, my friend. I never wrestled in a ring. Only wrestled when I was like in primary school. Those hands-on wrestling. I once hugged a girl. She enlightened me immediately. It's possible, my friend. Like, that's this connection we share with one another. The soul, dude. Them souls, dude. The soul. Human connection is a powerful thing. Human touch, I mean. Same thing, right? I find it odd to wear shoes in the house. I find it weird to wear shoes in the house. I think it is something that's strange as well. And it's a very, like, I feel almost cultural thing to not wear shoes in the house. Like, there's a lot of, I feel, in a lot of American homes, and I think in a lot of South African homes as well, there's like a complete disregard for shoes in the house. Like, for me, where I draw the line, like to the point where I'll consider never talking to you again, is if I see you get into bed with your shoes on. Oh my. Oh goodness. I feel myself getting triggered just thinking about it. I'm gonna say something if I see you do that. But like, it's difficult for me on the farm to go completely shoeless inside of my room, because for me the potential of dust particles and stuff like forming on the surface of my floor, then me stepping with my bare feet in said dust, and then getting into bed with said dust having accumulated on my feet, is a worse fate to me than walking into my room with my sandals. So it's a difficult thing for me right now, because I know it's not practical for me to do it right now, but I know, like, I have ideas as to how to implement properly if I ever have a house of my own. Well, when I have a house of my own, I should say, rather. It's yeah. Man, I'm still thinking, like, it's like it's looping and triggering me, just imagining someone like having their shoes on, or like even worse, them getting into your bed with their shoes on. Oh goodness. I need to breathe. Hey Aaron, I'm happy that you're here as well, my friend. Thank you for being here with us. Oh shit, is that a bee? Might have been. I wouldn't be surprised. I always feel like the odd one out. that I absolutely hate being barefoot. I always want shoes, slippers, or at least thick socks when inside. I hate stepping on different textures. So, interestingly enough, that is something I really enjoy, Naomi. Like stepping on textures. Like for me, like something I'll do actually when I step onto the grass, I'll like work my feet into them almost. Like I wanna plant myself, and it feels amazing. But again, we all have our own things, right? If we all enjoyed the same thing at the same time, it would be pretty mundane and boring. So I think things should be the way that they are. He does look like a hippie Matt Hardy. I don't know who Matt Hardy is, but I will accept your hippie compliment, my friend. Thank you very much. The opposite of forgiveness is judgment. Yeah. Again, so coming back to what we were talking about with forgiveness, like if you're coming from a place of having to go and forgive someone, technically what you're doing in that energy practice is you're being judgeful of them. You're coming from a place of saying you have wronged, and that's why you are wrong. And because you are wrong, I am forgiving you, which is not the way we should be thinking about forgiveness. We should be thinking again of forgiveness of there is no there is nothing that you can do to me that is not going to be done in the grand scale of the universe. Like there's nothing that you can do to me because we are infinite and eternal souls. And it's that judgment of, oh, you are wrong, you did this thing to me, da 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 da, that creates, and literally the next one, judgment, creates separation. Because when you judge someone, you're creating the space of inside of yourself of this and that. Like that thing is wrong, this thing I'm doing is the right thing. That judgment that creates a separation between us. And it's, again, we are not separate. And I'll say that 10 billion times until I actually understand it properly, because no matter how many times I say it, I'm still trying to realize it more and more. Where are you geographically? I'm curious, what was your motivation to start this stream? I am in South Africa, geographically, my friend. And this stream is number 115 of streaming every single day, with the intention of sharing from a place of love, extending from a place of love, being in a place of love as well, and growing from that place of love into what I'm supposed to be growing into. Yeah, there's a lot to the story about why I'm doing what I'm doing now, and I've said it a few times on these streams. So if you're really interested, really interested, you want to be my biggest fan ever, there is like 100 hours of footage on the internet right now of me just talking nonsense. Or talking all of the sense, who knows? It's like a more useful church sermon. Thank you, I guess, my friend. Like, and that's also something I want to be very specific about. I don't think of the things I talk about as religion. I think of it as spiritual practices. Because what I believe is the practices that we implement on our lives and the things we kind of steer ourselves towards doing, like forgiveness, like unity love, like loving compassion, like what's the other one I'm looking for as well? Just love. Yeah, just love in general. Loving each other, right? Being kind to one another for absolutely no reason. Living in these ways is something that's so, I want to say, just satisfying to your soul. It's something that your soul really revels in, because it understands that what it's doing is not only benefiting itself in turn because of this interconnectivity that we're all part of, but it is extending the treasure of what is. Like when we as human beings honestly and genuinely love one another, are kind towards one another, forgive one another, don't hold judgments against one another, there is literally an overall balance of comfortability, of love, of understanding, of happiness and joy being created within the psyche of the human consciousness. Because instead of it being this me versus you mentality, it is this us versus experience, or us with experience type of mindset. And then you come to realize that by being kind, by being loving, by being understanding of your fellow human beings, you're also being loving, being kind, being understanding towards yourself at the end of the day. And if we're gonna constantly keep doing that, like imagine, like we are, I don't know, let's see, how many people are we? We are 35 people here right now, right? In this very moment. If 35 people go over the world and live loving and compassionately, being kind to people for absolutely no reason, and that inspires, let's say, just okay, let's double the numbers, right? Let's say you inspire 2 people, each and every single one of you. You're kind, loving, compassionate towards 2 people in your entire day, which is not that much. Like, be it a restaurant worker, a waiter, be it the clerk that helps you with your groceries. Just be kind to them, and then you inspire them to in turn be kind to someone else. If they're kind to only 2 other people, now we're at 140. And you see the point I'm trying to make, right? It's this ripple effect where your kindness ripples into the lives of others, ripples into the lives of others, ripples into the lives of others, and so on and so forward. And the more we do that, it's inevitable that we're going to change this world. Like, it is inevitable. It's just a matter of time, I believe, at least. I know it's been a while because it's been popping up in my feed, so I was just curious. Thank you, my friend. Thank you for joining me. I'm happy that your curiosity finally got the better of you. Thank you for being here with us. Mm-hmm. Hello, hello, hello to you as well, Lane. Thank you for joining us, my friend. Are you? And yes, geographically, maybe I was asking where you are mentally. Where am I mentally? I'm in a very big state of calm. Interestingly enough, when I just started, having taken like a half teaspoon of that oil, I had like a sense of anxiety with how I was going to feel, how the experience was going to induce different perceptions, different feelings, different understandings, different behaviors maybe as well. And it was something that I was kind of anxious about, like, what is it going to be like? And I feel now that we are in this moment, and especially talking about the things we're talking about right now, I'm just calm. I'm feeling a great sense of calm, and it's really good. Love your accent, Mel. Thank you, Dream Notes. I appreciate you, my friend. I love you too. Here we go. We have friends saying hi. Yesterday's YouTube was a blast. I'm happy that you enjoyed it, Aaron. I actually thought about you while I was uploading it, thinking to myself, I really do hope that you watch this one. I felt yesterday was a really good chat. Very energized, if you will. Man, the infinity of everything all around us right now. All we have to do is take a second to actually appreciate it. Thank you for the hugs, my friend. I appreciate you, meme guy, man, dude. Where are you? South Africa, my friend. You are one hell of a smokelard. I don't know what a smokelard is. A smokelard, maybe. You have to spell it with an O. The I has to be an O, and then it's a smokelard. A smokelard would be a smuggler. Butterfly effect. Those butterfly effects, my friend, permeating throughout everything. Hey, Lisa. Good afternoon, Estian. Hi, friends. Hope everyone is having a good day. I hope that you're having a good day as well, my friend. Because technically your day is only starting. My day's been pretty good. I haven't taken any time to relax, actually, but because I was trimming, then there wasn't any space for me to hang anything, so I was jarring. Then I was hanging. Then I was making a decarb some buds. Then I added them to some coconut oil, and then that finished up like a few minutes ago. Like,
about 50 minutes ago. Then I showered, and then I came to stream. So it's been like a one thing after another type of day, which is sometimes enjoyable, right? You feel like you definitely have a lot of direction. You know where it is you're going, know where it is you want to go, and it's just moving towards that. Can I ask, what took you to South Africa? I saw your comment, and then it disappeared. Um, Birth, my friend, being born took me to South Africa. I got born here. Love from Canuck. Canuck? Cheers, buddy. Cheers to you as well, my friend. Thank you for the love, Hell Brown. Oh, it's Hell Brownman. It's also another streamer friend. Man is getting absolutely yoked. He's working his way up to 500 pounds. In the squat, I believe, right, Hell? Do tell us, my friend. If you're into the journey of a man getting absolutely yoked, do go check out Hell Bowman. If you have the opportunity and funding to create a business, what would it be? If I had the opportunity and funding to create a business right now, I would create a solar farm, my friend. Yeah, I will create a solar farm if I had the money and funding to do so right now. Because South Africa's electricity situation is kind of is not ideal. So like that's something I would love to do because it would create one, so many jobs for South Africans, and two, it would create sustainable energy. And three, it would just create energy that we are in desperate need of. So if I had all of those things, that's what I would do right now. Being optimistic or pessimistic, it doesn't really have anything to do with anything. Yeah, complete barber. Like that sounds like a pessimistic statement at the end of the day. Because I can say, even though you don't think any of it matters, all of that matters as well. Because there is nothing and there is everything in every single moment. It's just about our perceptions of it, right? Sounds like a good busy day. It really was. Hey, Kitty McVicious. It's been forever since we've seen you, my friend. How have you been? Thank you for joining us again. Mm-hmm. What drink are you enjoying? I'm drinking that sweet, sweet H2O. Water. Soos ons dit sê. O, flip, ek het vergeten te sê my vriend. I've been saying my friend this whole time. Anyway, Canucks are Canadians. Canucks? Why do they call themselves Canucks? I don't know why, but Canucks makes me think of nunchucks. And Chuck Norris. Is Chuck Norris Canadian? Or is he American? I don't know. One of you friends might. Hey, Thwaffle Maker. I'm happy that you're here as well, my friend. How have you been? It's been a while since we've seen you in here as well. It's dangerous in South Africa. I experience crazy shit. Oh, really? Tell me more about how dangerous my country is, my friend. It's not something I talk about because, like, okay, so let me backtrack for a second. There definitely is this sense within inside of myself where I avoid talking about things that perplex my soul, if you will. And it's something I've been judging myself with because I'm like, oh, you're, hiding from these negative experiences. You're trying to escape something that is your current lived experience at the end of the day. But how I've been thinking about it is I still know all of these things are there in the world. I know about my government's corruption. I know about people suffering at the hand of that corruption as well. And if I really, and this is the thing about me as well, I'm very emotional. So if I spend time thinking about these things and talking about them, I get so worked up, so angry, so frustrated with this whole experience and this understanding that shit is whack sometimes. And every single time I come to that realization, it's me again inducing it on myself. Like things are happening that is not ideal, obviously. Things are happening that I would like to change. Things are happening that is evil in the mindset that I live in. But all of these things are still supposed to be the way that they are, so that I can have this experience that I'm having. And I get to choose. I get to choose whether or not I want to feed into this negativity that I've been experiencing. Mm-mm-mm-mm. It's interesting you said a solar farm. Elon Musk being born in South Africa, you'd have thought he'd be rolling out his solar factories to help his birthplace. Yeah, I love Elon Musk for his ambition to save humanity. Like, that's the thing as well. Like, I know a lot of people have a lot of bad things to say about him. I think the reason he is the way that he is and as abrasive as he can be is just because of the way he is on himself as well. Like, I think he expects the same amount of effort and the same amount of go, if you will, from his employees that he has for his own businesses, which is not something that's realistic at the end of the day. But he gets a bad rap for that stuff because of his tendency to not want to follow regulation, his tendency to like really work his people, which is like, I mean, he's a businessman at the end of the day as well. So I understand the mindset behind what it is he's doing. But at the end of the day, he was laughed at as like a kook for suggesting that electric cars is going to be something that's realistic in our futures, and people were like really going for it on the Lotus Tesla, the first Teslas. Top Gear even like boycotted and like scripted into the show the car breaking down to like even worsen this publicity of this company. And what he's doing right now with the battery technology that he's basically forcing forward, they've developed their own battery technology as well, which is fantastic. It is pushing us as humanity towards this electrification and this moving into proper renewable energies. And like that is something at the end of the day that regardless of all of the bad stuff he might have done is something that's so beneficial to humanity as a whole. And I'm thankful for him for doing that as well. Like he also made all of his car patents, like the basic design patterns, available to all of the other car manufacturing companies. And now every single automaker has an EV program going, which is insane. It's insane. Like think about how little time it took him to really, like, literally change a whole industry. So I do respect him for that at least. You speaking Dutch? Ek praat Afrikaans, my vriend. Dis Afrikaans. Dis nie Dutch nie. Nederlands nie. Yo, I'm a lurk today. I kinda want background noise as I read. Sorry if I'm not in chat as much. Lane, you don't have to apologize for anything, my friend. All you can say, like, instead of saying sorry, say thank you, dude. Thank you. Thank you for knowing that I'm still here. Thank you for continuing your noise that you're making. I appreciate you, Len. And I see Dan is here as well. Dan, thank you for being here with us, my friend. I've been thinking about the podcast of next week. I look forward to having you there, actually. The chats that we're going to have is going to be legendary. Hey, are you into modern spiritualism? I guess you can say, yes, I am, my friend. Yes, I am. Aloha. Hey Dan, there we go. Love your positivity, bro. And I love you, my friend. Thank you. Thank you for joining in this positivity with me. And thank you for, in turn, sharing more positivity for me to experience as well. So you'll get a Neuralink someday. Automatic Cow, it's really interesting that you bring up those exact two topics, like back to back: modern spiritualism and Neuralink. And this is a very touchy topic. I think possibly going to be one of the most touchy topics that humanity has faced in a very long time. Because there's this understanding of our phones as in the way that they are right now, and our social media is working the way that they do right now, where they have this intention to manipulate you into a certain direction, right? And the fear is that these Neuralink devices could be used for the same intent. Okay. But the way I'm thinking about it, first and foremost, is that these technologies are going to allow people that have absolutely no quality of life to have a quality of life. Like if you're paralyzed, you can open your eyes, you can experience conscious reality, but your body no longer does the things it's supposed to do. And you can have one surgery that will allow you to speak. It will allow you to communicate over the internet with your friends and family. It will allow you to maybe regain the capacity of your body. It will allow you to work and to be productive if that is something that you want to do. It will allow you literally a new lease on life. One surgery, getting this Neuralink in your brain, right? And to a person like that, that is life changing, literally life saving. Man, I'm getting emotional about it. And that is something I believe we're almost morally obligated as a human species to realize for those people as well, because that is a lived experience that they deserve to have. And the way I've been feeling about it, from like I take my my spiritualism or my spiritualistic, I don't know what to say or how to say it, my spiritual direction I want to take for my own life is something I take very seriously, and it's something I feel takes priority in my life in a lot of ways as well. So this question of Neuralink and if it will affect my spiritualism in a negative way has been something I've been playing with as an idea for a long time, and something I've been really curious about as well. And the conclusion, the feeling, the understanding at least that I've shaped about it for myself is this understanding that if my intention, so at the end of the day, like the same with my phone, the same with my computer, the same with my car. I don't have a car, but I'm trying to make a point. We have these devices that can enable us to do anything. I can use my car to drive to the store, buy something, and drive back home, and that's my use for the car. Or I can use my car to plow through people that are biking, right? Those two are both things that I can do with my car. It doesn't make the car in itself evil. It makes the intention or the actions that I take with that thing potentially evil. So in the same way, the way we use, if you get a Neuralink, the way you use it is going to be much more important than if you use it or not, right? Because if you're someone, and this, I'm not judging, I'm just trying to make a point. If you're someone that's a little bit more on the sexually depraved side of life, maybe you've like experienced a lot of lack in that area of your life, and now it's something you need to satisfy. And you're going into these Neuralink experiences to experience sexual relief or sexual experiences over and over and over again, and you're going to get completely consumed with that mindset, then it can be something absolutely that can completely destroy your life. But in the same way, a cell phone can do the same thing. So how I've basically been thinking about it and how I've been feeling about it is that if I have the capacity to, while I'm meditating, for example, turn the input of this device off. So I'm no longer receiving any information from this device, but I can leave it on and allow it to receive outputs from my brain. I could basically, in my meditation and the brain states and the brain waves and the brain patterns that I experience throughout my meditation, I can have that as a recorded experience, and I can almost like pinpoint and pick the different brain waves that I reach within that experience. And then if I wanted to, at least this is what I'm thinking. I have no idea if this is something going to be possible, but this is how I've almost rationalized to myself the idea of whether or not it would be something that will be all bad or all good. And I've basically come to the point that it's going to be neutral, as everything is. And again, like if I could use those safe states for my next meditation to almost start off from that place. Like let's say there's levels, right? And this is an example because I don't know if there actually is something like this, but let's say there's like actual levels to meditation. Like if you meditate for 10 hours, you get level 1 meditator. If you meditate for 100 hours, you get level 2, 1000 level 3, and so on and so forth. And through these hours of meditation, basically what you're doing is you're training your brain to tune into certain frequencies. If you can, through this trained experience, teach yourself how to tune into these frequencies, and then with the aid of this technology, induce these frequencies in your brain because of this own spiritual work that you've done to induce these states. Again, your intention, how you're going to try and use it. And it's a difficult question. It's a very difficult question. It's something that I'm gonna have to do a lot more thinking about as well. We need to cook. Imagine what Formula One is going to be once they're flying. Oh my goodness, yeah, dude, flying Formula One sounds insane. Much love from Space Rock Bird. Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you, my friend. Send her my love as well. Where are you from? I'm from South Africa, my friend. Meld, what's going on, brother? Hey, Destructor Disc. I'm Vabin, my friend. Vabin, having some good conversations. Talking about the serious stuff a little bit. Does not approve of this. There we go. Hey, Katie, I'm happy that you're here as well, my friend. Rainy day in New York. How are you, Estian? I'm doing well. I'm doing really well. I'm feeling good. I'm comfortable. I'm calm. It's a beautiful day. How are you feeling, Katie? Do you sleep well? You think big corporations and the health industry would want to make less money by curing people? I know it's sad, but money will have to be made. I don't think so. I think we're moving into a society where, like, I think the money need is going to get saturated, where people are going to start realizing that it's not all about the money anymore. Like, it's going to be, I honestly believe that we're moving into a reality, a society, a world where human life and experience of life is going to be put first. Are you in Tali Amfetati for spiritual growth and true awakening? I don't know what that word means, my friend. Taling Amphetami. I don't know what that is, but do actually let me know. That sounds really cool. Podcast is on Friday, Mel. Yep. This Friday coming, Dan. No longer on the Thursdays. It's going to be 7 p.m. my time, so I think you're going to have your vacation, though, so it should be chill. Will help people with spinal problems and sclerosis and multiple problems. Recently, they made that a monkey could play a game. Yeah, ping pong through his mind. Seems like a chill dude, though. Like, at the end of the day, we can't ever know a person. Like, you can't even know me, even though I'm trying to get you to know me, right? Because that's, I feel now, especially on the journey I want to be streaming every single day for my entire life. Legitimately, I would love to be able to do that. And even if you follow every single day for this entire experience, let's say I stream for the next 130 years extra, and you follow every single day for the next 130 years, you still would not know me. And I still would not know me. So, how do we say someone is a chill dude or not? How do we know? I don't know. I hope so, at least. I do hope so. I do believe Elon is one of the best visionaries of our time. I think so as well, Justin. I think he gets a bad rap as well. Because people, like, again, and Yash, I'm not calling you out, my friend. Like, people think that being a billionaire in itself is wrong. The reason he's a billionaire is because all of the assets he has in SpaceX, in Neuralink, in Tesla, in Solar City, and whatever else he has money in, and all of the buildings and all of the employees and all of those things contribute to his, like, net wealth, or, yeah. Is it net wealth? Net worth? Net worth, that's the one. And that's why they're worth so much money. But I think, honestly, Elon is doing the most that any other rich person has ever done to actually save this planet. With his industrialization of electric cars, batteries getting better significantly, solar being pushed on every single front. Like, he's doing real good work with the solar he's doing, like installing giant fields, the battery packs that goes along with them. And the really cool thing about batteries as well is they're infinitely recyclable. Like, the metals that go into them, if the battery's like end of life, You just melt them down and you have all of the materials. So we're going to reach this equilibrium where we can recycle batteries instead of having to mine them, which means our batteries are going to get cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. And if it wasn't for a lot of the things that Elon Musk did, I don't think we would be in a lot of ways where we are right now with battery technology, for example. Was one of your favorite childhood memories? That's a good question. Thank you for asking it, my friend. Favorite childhood memories? Hmm. 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 I'm scrolling through my childhood trying to find something that was like pop to me. Hmm. Nothing in particular stands out to me, dude, which is a little bit of a shame. Hmm. Actually, there we go. One just flooded to my brain. When I was, I think 5 years old or four, like, no, I think 5 years, 5 or 6 years old. My dad took me to a car show, and it was fantastic. I saw cars racing. I saw like supercars, open doors. Got to sit in them. Got to see these cool like mountain buggy stuff. Yeah, that's a really fond memory of mine. Spending time with my dad at a car show. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Technology is just a medium depending on how we interact with it. It can be either positive or negative. Exactly, Dan. Like what we're doing here right now. I could be a streamer that talks about, you know, death, damnation, suffering, and how to incur more death, damnation, and suffering onto this world. Like that's something I could choose to do with these streams and with this medium that we have. But what our choices are, how we choose to use these mediums, is what's going to be what's most important at the end of the day. Um, some that is true, and that neuroscience is so complex. It is one of the topics that humanity is still miles away from understanding at all. Yeah, there's this guy that said, "Hey, Jovan, I'm sorry, my friend. Have I missed you? Maybe it's just because the comments were far away. I'm happy that you're here with me, my friend. What did you just say that I wanted to like? Oh yeah, understanding. So there's this guy that made this analogy or metaphor or example that if the amount of knowledge we're supposed to know or we're going to learn about the brain is like a mile, we're in the first inch of understanding the human brain. And yeah, that breaks my brain as well. I think that technology is advancing and there's no stopping it. So by trying to fight it, it will only fall behind. Might as well embrace it. Yeah, literally, Jovan. Like, sure, there is like tracking, there is catering, there is data harvesting happening, even with these phones that we have. And we are, at the end of the day, opting into it just by owning these devices. And as you said, like, if sure you can live a life without a smartphone, I just think you're going to be living a significantly harder life in a lot of ways with your access to information. Just the GPS. Like, think about how many times we use our GPSs these days to just get from like one point to another. And especially if you're going to a place you don't know where you're going, then a GPS is something that's invaluable almost. And it's so crazy that we live on a planet where we have these literal satellites just free to use. We're just like we have literally devices in space that tell us where we are in any moment on this planet. Like, just think about that. Like, really, really stop and actually think about what that implies. You have a device in your hand that knows exactly through the use of giant balls of metal in space exactly where you are on this planet. You know how small you are, right? you're like tiny, 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 tiny. Like the smallest thing that you can imagine on your skin. Like that's how big you are on this planet. Now imagine a germ or like a cell having a little device that can tell it exactly where it is on your entire body. That's a trip, dude. Man, we live in a really cool world and we take a lot of it for granted. I'm glad it's Friday. My last interview at the start started up this Saturday, Thursday. Okay, then I actually look forward to chatting about that as well. Mhm. You can't fight the forward progress. We have to guide it and channel it towards positivity instead. Perfectly put, Dan. I couldn't agree more. If podcasts are now on Friday, I might be able to make one. That is, if you want. Of course, we want you, Justin. Like, I wouldn't, if even for a second, consider not wanting you, my friend. Would love to have you as well. So, I want to actually now create a channel on the Discord as well, where we can have like some sort of listing system or something. So, if you friends want to join the podcast, you can like kind of like occupy a slot, if you will, so that I can't like so that I can keep up. Actually, just basically. I'm excited for you. These interviews have been a journey, and I'm glad we've been updated on them. Sending good vibes, my bro. I've been doing well, Justin. Lazy Sunday morning, trying to roll myself out of bed. Well, at least you have friends cheering you on now, Jovan. Jovan, get out of bed. I'm thinking about you, my friend. I hope that you're well. I hope that you have an amazing Sunday. My Sunday was good. I kept the sun busy for you this long. It's your friends' turn to take over for me. Thank you for the vibe, and Yash, I appreciate you, my friend. Definitely a lazy one of mine as well. Doesn't help that it's a bit cold outside. Ooh, it's the cold outside that really gets you into the lazy. I like this morning, I couldn't sleep properly last night. I went to bed like at 11, even later, where I usually try to be at bed by 9. And I'm mildly concerned about how I'm going to feel tomorrow morning because I have this thing I call sleep tax, where if I don't sleep well today, I'll be okay tomorrow, but I won't be okay the day after that. So I'm gonna probably dance tomorrow being a little bit wrecked. But this morning when I woke up, with having not slept as much as I used to, like the first thing in my mind was also, oh, my bed is so nice and warm. I don't want to get out. And I was like, no, get it, dude. Just get it. Get it. Yeah. Hey, bro. There we go. Hello, my friends. I appreciate hearing these opinions. Thank you. When it rains, it pours. I'm happy that you're here with us, my friend. It's been a real good chat. I feel like I've been allowed some good information, if you will. Another metaphor is that what we know now is like one drop in the ocean. Also, the ocean is infinite. Yeah, dude. Like, how are we? So, there's like this theory as well that our brains are quantum computers. And when we observe things in our reality, in the same way as you observe like a particle in its quantum state. So, like the idea of observing so I don't know how many of you friends understand like the basics of quantum physics or the basics of like particles switching states. So if you can think about the sine wave, right? It goes up, which is a 1, and then it goes down, which is the 0. And it goes like 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, or whatever state, on, off, whatever state you want to put in. By seeing where it is in that state, by measuring it, by like basically taking a snapshot, that wave particle is either going to be in the 1 or it's going to be in the 0 field. And that's basically how we determine in which state it is, right? So what they were suggesting about the human brain is that when we observe something, like when I, for instance, look at my phone, that creates a quantum phenomenon inside of my brain where the actual observation of something creates a 1 in my brain that kind of triggers a cascade of brain cells being fired. So yeah, I think it's gonna be be a while, be a long while until we understand how the brain actually works. This relates to my thinking yesterday that I don't know where my compass is. Yeah, where your compass is. I've never in my entire life, for a second, used a map, like a map. And I probably never will. And my children will laugh at me if I tell them that people were using pieces of paper to get by. And back in the day, your grandpappy didn't have any cell phones. Man, I look forward to having grandkids as well. Well, about the technology and the ambition of humans, it'll be our way to a total apocalypse to human life. Humans always want more, and technology could lead to a very devastating things. Yeah, my friend, look at the state of our world right now. Like literally, the combustion engine is slowly wrecking our planet, and that's just the technology. It's not the technology that's the problem; it's our use of the technology, my friend. I don't think we're going to be led to ruin. I don't think so. I think we're going to be the ones that saves it from ruin at the end of the day. When we are driving in our cars on the road, going from one place to another, observe humans. Observe humans to see that the '60s love movement never was or is possible. Like that's for you to believe, my friend. I don't understand what you mean though. Like your message doesn't make a lot of sense. When we are driving in our cars on the road, going from one place to another, then it's like a bunch of dots. Observe humans, a bunch of dots, to see that the '60s love movement, bunch of dots, never was or is possible. I have no idea what you're talking about, my friend. Has the oil kicked in, Mel? Uh, uh, maybe. What do you think? Do I sound delirious? I'm happy that it's not as strong as I anticipated it to be. I feel like well, maybe I just sealed my fate. You know, edibles. They say edibles only kick in when you talk shit about them. So, probably gonna have my ass handed to me now. Oh yes, I fucking love quantum physics. Let's go, dude. Quantum physics. It's crazy shit, dude. So interesting. Ooh, and it's everywhere, dude. Hmm. This this very experience is a quantum phenomenon. Oh my. I think I think I might be easing into it now. Sleep tax is real. Got any time for a midday nap? Hmm, not today. Not today. Like I have a bunch of stuff to do. I have to get the video edited and stuff, and then I'll be done, and then I'll get to bed. I am gonna dance tomorrow though, so I might just end up caffeinating myself into oblivion, which is not something I like doing, but it does work. Thank you for you into the magic portal, my friend. I appreciate it. Man, who of you friends played Portal, the game? What a good game that was. Damn. Portal 1 and 2, probably some of the best games I've ever played in my life. I've been trying to apply this concept to music. The waveforms that I create are not music. They are just energy. Music is an illusion that our mind creates as the energy interacts with our eardrums. Yeah, dude. It's like air vibrates in patterns. Humans. It's cool though, because like technically, this is one thing that's kind of confusing about music as well. Like the gaps where there is no music is just as important as the actual music itself. Again, there is no separation. So it's not about how it sounds; it's about how it feels when your brain perceives it. Yeah, dude. I'm looking forward to seeing where you take that idea as well, Dan. Sounds like a really cool practice of creation. There's a little burb picking at the bark. Maybe he's trying to eat a bug underneath it. What a sweet little thing. There's a lot less birds lately, as it's been getting colder and colder. But it's still so nice to see them when they're around. Thank you for the hugs, my friend. I'm pretty sure I've said it already, but thank you again. Yes, silence is an essential tool to any songwriter. It really is. Silence, nothingness, vastness, openness, expansiveness. All of experience just is. This is something I was thinking about yesterday. I was talking to Christian on the phone. We had like a proper 1.5 hour chat or something. And we were talking about, I think, just the universe and like how we are perpetuating throughout it, and how he would like to meet me. He hopes to meet me again in our other forms as well. Like that was the gist of what we were talking about. And I was thinking about him talking about that, and I was thinking about this representation that a supercomputer made of how our universe is structured, with dark matter almost being this like substrate on which top of our universe grows. And if you look at the way that our material, physical universe grows on this substrate, it grows like neurons, like brain cells. Hmm. Oh my. We live in a really interesting universe, my friends. There's so much we don't understand about it. Even our sciences, like we can't rightly figure out gravity even. Something that we're experiencing right now. Think about it. Something that's so fundamental to our entire existences, something we're so intuitively aware of. Like you're not worried you're going to like fly up into space if you jump off of a little wall because you know you're going down. And there's this theory as well that one of the ways we might figure out how to properly travel in space is with the manipulation of what gravity actually is. And the way that they suggest that that might be possible is through this practice of almost creating a vacuum, or what's the word I'm looking? Maybe vacuum is a good word. In front of a spaceship, out of gravity, to pull it forward. So, like, if you want to imagine it, like let's imagine space like as a flat plane, right? Like a blanket. Let's maybe see if I can do it like this. Is there a way for me to do it like this? I wonder. Actually, there might be. So, if space is a flat plane like this, and we had the ability to manipulate gravity, instead of having to propel ourselves with combustion or photons or whatever, we could create a hole in reality, which if we're like a marble, we would roll towards that hole or that vacuum within reality. So if we can figure out, either as human beings or as a species with our technology, how to manipulate gravity, we might even be able to levitate with our basic bit human bodies. We just have to figure out how to do this thing. This dark energy that's all around us, even right here amongst us right now, if we can figure out how to truly manipulate it, and I can create a vacuum of gravity above me, I could theoretically levitate my entire body. As a thought experiment. Like, technically, this isn't something that's possible. Technically, that's at least what we believe. That's what we think right now. But I would like to think different. I would hope to think different. It would be so cool if we could levitate as human beings. Gravity. Man. We recently figured out that gravity waves is a thing as well. Something that Einstein suggested years ago, and something that people never really thought was like, actually, Einstein talked about this discovery of his as one of his biggest failures in his entire life. And yet, when neutron stars circle each other, there's so much energy being created because they both have gravitational forces that creates these ripple effects of gravity throughout our universe, which I believe, if you think about it again, as this universe being a plane, as these things spin, they create these little ripples on this infinite plane that is dark energy. Or creating a wormhole by bending space-time and creating a tunnel between 2 points. That's also the other way. Like, the way that works, to explain it, is by, if you want to think again about space-time as a flat surface, you can, instead of going from this point all the way to this point by traveling over through this space-time linearly, you can fold space-time in half, and then you can travel right through the hands like this. So instead of having to move all of that area, you only move this little area. Space, dude. But you need antimatter to prevent the tunnel from collapsing. Maybe we'll figure out how to do that shit, dude. At some point, maybe AI will help us how to do that shit. The discovery of gravitational waves is gonna change humanity. It's insane. It really is insane. And that's kind of why people have started to come up with these theories I'm talking about right now, about being able to bend space-time in that way and then create these forces, because we didn't really understand how gravity like still sometimes behaves. And by understanding something as fundamental as gravitational waves, we're gonna discover some weird shit. Like I'm thinking now as well, it's a shame that Stephen Hawking didn't get to see the picture of the black hole at the center of our universe. Like literally, man spent most of his life working towards the realization of that vision, and then he dies like weeks before it happens. Check out a book called Physics of the Impossible. It goes over many of the impossible things, such as force fields and teleportation. Physics of the Impossible. That sounds really cool, my friend. Thank you for suggesting that. Why are you so involved with heavily promoting drug use? Am I? Am I? I don't think I am. I don't think I mentioned drugs in the last 20 minutes or something. I think I've talked about it twice. I consumed some cannabis oil, which is not something I really think of as a drug at all. Like, what is a drug at the end of the day? Is sugar a drug? Is caffeine a drug? Is alcohol a drug? Yes, all of them are. Again, it's about your intention. And I'm not promoting any of it, actually. Quite the contrary. I would rather promote against anything, because I don't know you, your experience, your biochemistry, your perspective, your set of inside of your mind. So for me to suggest or to promote heavily, as you say, would be very irresponsible. But I do appreciate you reminding me that that is the way I feel about it. Basically, the impossible things proved by theoretical science. Ooh, okay. So I'm happy that you actually mentioned that part, because I was kind of thinking like, would be cool to like hear all of these things that are not possible, but it's cool that they try to at least prove it with theoretical science. If we could survive to the end of the universe, there will be so many supermassive black holes that we could hear sounds from gravitational waves created by the immense gravity that all these black holes would apply to physical space. Yeah, that's something that's pretty crazy about it as well, Dan. And like there's this theory that I've played with for a very long time of, imagine in the ultimate heat death of the universe, and all of these black holes in our universe could combine, right? Somehow, some way, all of them like get combined into this one supermassive black hole. And then this black hole, because black holes decay as well, which is something we recently realized, which is also a really big deal. And I'm curious, like, because we haven't been able to observe something like that. At the decay of the black hole, what happens then? Is there another type of supernova event? And then could that in turn be the creating seed of the new universe? The entire universe gets created from a big explosion. Big explosion makes matter. Matter makes stars. Stars collapse into black holes. Black holes consume each other. Big black hole collapses upon itself. Big explosion. Matter gets created. Like that's one of the theories I've played with as well. I'm not sure if it's true though. I love this stream, and I love you, my friends. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you for sharing the space with me. I really do love you, friends, as well. This is fantastic to me as well. It's been such a fun chat. Do you think humans will be able to become immortal in our lifetimes, either by halting the aging process or by uploading consciousness into a computer? I've been playing with those ideas as well for a very long time, my friend. And at one point, I thoroughly believed that I was not going to die. Like when I was 16, 17, 18, like that is something I believed thoroughly because of the technology that we're moving towards, with CRISPR being the way that it is. Like they're making some big strides in CRISPR as well right now. I believe that we would be able to halt the aging process of the physical, normal human body. But I no longer strive for that anymore. I had some experiences as well, with death, if you will, that kind of allowed me to release all of the tension I had surrounding death and the idea of dying. So, like, it's no longer something that scares me, the idea of dying. And that's the reason I no longer actively strive to live forever, if you will. To answer your question very abruptly, if you will, or justly, or maybe, if we would be able to extend ourselves into an immortal field of consciousness, I feel we already are immortal as consciousness, right? So we're trying to pursue this immortalization of the egoic consciousness, which I think in a lot of ways we already are doing with the way that we're utilizing the internet right now. Because with, for instance, an Instagram page that someone has made, that is basically a snapshot of their egoic consciousness, and that is something that's going to be on the internet forever. So technically an immortalization of that egoic consciousness. So we're already doing it, my friend. Already doing it. Trips me out. The gravitational waves warp the entire Earth and our bodies as it passes through our part of space. Yeah. Yeah. And I believe like this. So the same thing happens with like solar flares and stuff like that. I believe it affects the way we feel, the way our bodies work, the way we experience this reality as well. And it's a pretty trippy thought to think that not only like, and this is okay. So, not only are we being affected by things that are literally light years away from us, we believe that we aren't being affected by our planet. Like that's some backward stuff as well, dude. Like we don't understand that our planet has these magnetic waves as well because of the amount of mass it has. And we have iron in our bloods. We have these like cells that sometimes interact with these magnetic forces as well. Our brain cells, with the electricity running through our little dendrites, is creating magnetic fields as well. And those magnetic fields are playing off on each other. And we're experiencing a part of reality, this part of reality, in a very interesting way. And we take it for granted. I wish I could get to that point. Same, my friend. We're trying to, right? Getting over that underlying existential dread of the physical death. Oh, you mean that. My friend, it's a journey. It's a journey. I came from a very depressed place as well. So I try to commit Sudoku, if you will. And yeah, so that's kind of why I've released my, as you say, underlying existential dread of the physical death, because I was pursuing it at one point in my life. So it's no longer something that I necessarily fear. There is no ending existence at the end of the day. And that's the lesson I want to leave you with, my friends. Thank you so much for joining me on this day. It was really good. Know that the you that is you underlying is infinite, immortal, and eternal. And you will never cease to be, my friends.